We really want to have a kid.
Yeah.
We just don't want to subject that kid to our tragic marriage.
Our tragic marriage?
No, our tragic marriage.
The one we would have.
Us.
I mean, see, we just, we don't want to fall into the trap that most of our friends have. We want to do it in a way that doesn't kill the romance and.
Right.
In 1989, the film When Harry Met Sally took what was, at the time, a pretty modern look at gender relationships by asking whether a man and woman could ever be platonic friends. While it ended along conventional rom-com lines, it was still a seminal film that sparked millions of flirty conversations. No other film has taken such a funny, modern look at the shifting nature of heterosexual male-female relationships. That is, until now. The new film, Friends with Kids, takes the premise of When Harry Met Sally to its next logical step, accepting that men and women can be friends, but going further to ask whether male and female friends can raise a child together while effectively remaining single until they meet the right person. The friends in question are serial dater Jason, played by Adam Scott, and good girl Julie, played by the film's writer-director Jennifer Westfeldt. Friends since college, Jason and Julie are now in their 30s and live in the same building, where they lead the kind of perfect New York lifestyles we're used to seeing in movies and TV shows. Full of sharp outfits, beautiful apartments, hip restaurants, and attractive friends. Like comfy married couple Leslie and Alex, played by Maya Rudolph and Chris O'Dowd, and passionate, sexy newlyweds Ben and Missy, played by John Hamm and Kristen Wiig. But this metropolitan utopia is disrupted when Leslie and Alex reveal that they're pregnant, but promise that nothing will change and they'll stay the same hip, cool friends they always were. But flash forward 4 years, and Leslie and Alex are living a decidedly unhip life in Brooklyn, bickering, exhausted, stuck at home, and with the passion drained from their marriage. Ben and Missy also have a baby, but all of their sizzle has turned to resentment and spite. Jason and Julie both want to have a kid, but aren't attracted to each other and don't want to end up like their married friends. So they devise a shortcut. They'll have a kid together and split the child-rearing duties while maintaining their single lives until they meet the right person. Much like a divorced couple sharing custody without the marriage or divorce. While their friends think this is a terrible idea and a critique on their married lives, they can't argue with the positive results, though obstacles eventually arise, especially when Jason and Julie both meet people who appear to be perfect for them. Since Friends with Kids is, at its heart, a romantic comedy, you can probably guess how it ends. But I have to say that I thoroughly enjoyed this film, which has strong, very natural performances from a talented cast. The dialogue actually feels like you're overhearing real conversations, and while the jokes come fast and funny, they aren't juvenile or silly and sound like what would come from smart adults in real situations. While Republicans act like marriage is some perfect creation that must be protected from liberals and committed gay couples who wish to destroy it, it's pretty clear from people who live in reality that straight people have done a pretty thorough job of wrecking marriage on their own, evidenced by the fact that around 50% of marriages end in divorce, nearly everyone I know comes from divorced parents or are divorced themselves, and that people are increasingly wary of taking the plunge and are waiting longer to get married. Friends with Kids acknowledges this reality as Jason and Julie attempt to have a family while seeking a smarter alternative to an institution that's no longer required for having kids and will more than likely fail. While Friends with Kids probably won't be a classic like When Harry Met Sally and eventually gives in to rom-com conventions, it's a very good, funny, modern take on what younger generations are willing to do to avoid marriage's pitfalls without giving up the dream of having a family. It's a surprisingly good comedy aimed at adults, which is why Friends with Kids earned my What the Flick rating of 8.3. I'm Jonathan Kim for What the Flick.